This is the age of Netflix and chill. Now we've all had our favorite movies and series right in the palms of our hands, and we can watch them whenever we want to. Every once in a while, an innovative show takes the world by storm, and The Big Bang Theory was one of them.
What is that?
That is Sheldon's I'm unhappy and about to destroy the planet music.
In today's video, we'll be talking about why Jim Parsons left and who was the worst guest star on the show. Firstly, Jim Parsons had to leave because of a personal tragedy. If you're a fan of the series, you know there's no show without Sheldon Cooper. The neurotic nerd with a heart of gold carried the entire thing on his back, and we learned to love him over 12 seasons. Fans were crushed when they heard the show was ending, especially after discovering that at least 2 more seasons were planned. But since Parsons left, the show's last 2 seasons were cancelled. Instead, we were given a spin-off that gave us a look into Sheldon's youth. While that's a nice show in its own right, we just miss the entire gang so much. We hate change just like Cooper does. Although we can't blame the actor because he had a very legitimate reason for leaving. His 14-year-old dog was sick, but he had to leave him at home as the actor was late to shoot an ad. He still feels guilty because his faithful companion was all worn out and disheveled. So he left to make the commercial and came back later. The next day he had to go to a shoot for tbbt, and while he was there, the worst thing imaginable happened. His dog had a terrible seizure. A little while later, he and his partner had to make the hard decision to put their dog down because he was in so much pain. The actor decided to leave the show and spend time with his family and to take a much-needed break. Now for his insane schedule. In an exclusive interview, the iconic actor talked about what a hard decision it was for him to leave the show. He had been working with the entire cast for more than 10 years, and they were like family to him, but he needed to take a break. During his entire time on the show, he didn't take a lot of days off. When he wasn't on the Big Bang sets, he was shooting commercials. If he wasn't doing that, he would be performing on Broadway. He was edging towards burnout and decided to take care of himself before things worsened. And we're glad he did. He decided to take things slowly in life and spend more time with his loved ones, especially after losing his dog. We hope he's getting the rest he deserves, although we miss seeing him on screen. But wait, there's more. In another interview, the actor gave one more reason for slowing down. His father died when he was in his 50s, and now, when the actor is in his late 40s himself, he just doesn't want to have any regrets. The iconic actor said that he realized he needed to do more things in life and wanted to be as good a man as his father was. That's super sweet. Coming up, we miss Sheldon so much because he was the best.
Hush falls over the crowd as Cooper studies the board. He makes his move, and he solves the equation. The crowd goes wild. No bell, no bell.
Some people think that the super smart character wasn't that good, but we strongly disagree. It's not a secret that he was one of the most annoying characters for most of the show. He didn't get sarcasm, didn't care much about other people's feelings, and was very self-centered, but he still managed to steal our hearts. Most people would probably agree that Sheldon's huge sense of superiority was the cause of many of his problems, and we agree with that too. But Parsons played this character so well that it's hard to think of anyone else who could have done a better job. He brought this great character to life and will always be remembered as the comic book loving nerd. When the show first started, the character was a real pain in the behind. He didn't know how to talk to people without coming off as arrogant, and he always said what he was thinking. Since then, he changed because of his friends, especially Leonard, Penny, and Amy. There's so much character development there that you can't help loving him. Just like his friends, we grew to adore him, and he became such a big part of our lives. Now let's look at the worst guest star on the show. The show aired for more than 10 years, and we got to see so many celebrities make appearances, either as themselves or playing some character. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why the show was so famous. But there's one guest star that everyone hated, and ironically, he went on to be cast in the spin-off series. You know who we're talking about. It's Lance Barber. While we had no problems with the actor, we hated the character he played. Jimmy Speckerman was one of Leonard's bullies at school. The actor only played this character in one episode of season 5, which is considered one of the least popular of the whole series. In the episode, the bully sent him a message on Facebook suggesting that they get together for a drink. For some reason, the poor guy decided to go meet him at a bar and confront him for all the bad things he used to do to him. It turned out that the bully needed a bunch of nerds to help him with something. Well, Leonard got to confront his bully and he apologized in a drunken state. Fans still really hated the episode. Fans of young Sheldon were surprised to learn that Barber would be playing Sheldon's father. We couldn't believe that CBS would cast the same actor, but he's done a great job on the show, so we don't mind anymore. What's more, there were a lot of guest stars on the show. The team behind the hit show usually didn't have a hard time getting A-listers to appear as guest stars. It happened every so often, and every time fans just went crazy. If the characters didn't love either Star Wars or Star Trek, the show wouldn't be about real geeks with serious nerd cred. Fans of both Star Wars and this show could enjoy episodes with Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and James Earl Jones. When we saw these icons on the screen again, it was like all of our inner geeks' dreams were coming true. Not to forget Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, George Takei, and the legendary Bill Shatner from the Star Trek universe made the most iconic episodes possible. Bill Nye, the Science Guy, and Professor Proton have probably left the biggest mark on young audiences than any other scientists in the world. So many children got into the sciences because of their shows. It brought back so many fond memories to see them on the show. They even got famed astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson to come on the show, where he feuded with Raj on Twitter and called to give him a deGrasse kicking. We got to see Steve Wozniak and Bill Gates from the tech world. The great and powerful Woz came on to dinner at the Cheesecake Factory, while Gates made Leonard cry. Plus, we have one for the ladies. We got to see the super hot Magic Mike star Joe Manganiello playing Dungeons & Dragons. Finally, some of the guest stars became regulars on the show. Yes, we're talking about Stephen Hawking, Will Wheaton, and Professor Proton. Even though Sheldon's crazy ideas have brought a lot of famous people into the Big Bang universe, not many of them can say they fought intellectually with the show's lead, the socially awkward scientist. Without a doubt, the most influential of these alleged rivals was the great genius Stephen Hawking himself. Throughout several seasons, they became friends. Sheldon sent him drunken voicemails, fainted when the great Hawkman pointed out a simple arithmetic mistake in one of his papers, and played a word game with him. The great scientist even sang him the birthday song, and was one of the first people the kooky genius went to for advice when he wanted to ask Amy to marry him. Isn't that just adorable? Then we've got Will Wheaton, who played a parody of himself. He started off as Cooper's mortal enemy and ended up being one of his closest friends. They came a long way from being in rival bowling teams and fantasy card games to the Star Trek star almost officiating his wedding. Last but certainly not least, we have Bob Newhart. The comedy legend had such a big impact on all the characters in the show.
So you have any single grandmothers?
He played Professor Proton, an old man who used to host a children's TV show. Our favorite Brainiac was obsessed with him. Arthur became a fatherly figure for him, giving him advice and helping him through hard times. God, we miss The Big Bang Theory. That's a wrap for this video. Who was your favorite guest star on the comedy show, The Big Bang Theory? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.